Dear 10th standard students and parents, I am Kiran and I am an educator. CBSE board exam dates are just announced. I have made a few tutorial videos covering each and every concept in the NCERT textbook through question and answer format. The question and answer format will help you to fetch all the points that should be included in your answer. Basically, it will help you to cover the whole textbook in a short span of time. A word of caution though, what I am doing is giving you just an extra support. However, your primary source of learning should be from your teacher at school and the NCERT textbook.
Okay, dear students, today we'll be discussing about the history topics. And the first part is the introduction, the rise of nationalism in Europe. So, in this topic, I have included 6 questions which will cover the whole topic
or the whole unit.
6 questions will have answers where we have included all the key terms, key words, key ideas, etc.
That should be included in the answer.
Second, I have framed everything in point form so that your thought process can be more organized instead of scattered information. As far as possible, I have tried to loop in the idea so that you'll get the connectivity, so that you can recall the ideas or recall the answers quite fast in the exam hall. Okay, let's start with the first question. First question is, what is utopian vision according to Frederick Soryu? So we are familiar with this picture which is given in our NCERT textbook, and Frederick Soryu, according to his idea of the nation or the whole world, the term utopian implies a vision of a society that is so ideal that it is unlikely to actually exist. It is an idealistic view. In Frederick Soryu's utopian vision, a world is where nations are united, and live in harmony with Christ, saints, and angels looking down from heaven. All right, they are looking down from heaven, signifying divine blessings and the shared goal of a harmonious world order. So we have got the divine blessings for this whole world, which is unified and is, of course, leading an ideal way of living. Then the third point is, according to utopian vision, fraternity represents the brotherhood and unity. The key word is fraternity. All right. The fraternity represents a brotherhood and unity among nations, and it is symbolized by the procession of different nations, each identified by their flags. So, fraternity, procession, symbolized by the procession of different nations, and you can identify these nations by their flags, and they are moving towards liberty. So, please note down these key points. Fraternity, symbolized by the procession. The third point is flags, and the fourth point would be liberty. As you can see here, there is a procession and people holding different flags, implying different nations, and they are all united and they are marching towards liberty. All right. So we have got 3 points for this answer. What is utopian vision according to Frederick Soryu? The term utopian vision implies a vision of a society that is so ideal. That's a keyword, catchphrase. Ideal that it is unlikely to actually exist. In Frederick Soryu's utopian vision, a world is where nations are united and live in harmony with Christ, saints, and angels looking down from the heavens, signifying divine blessings and shared goal of a harmonious world under. So here we have got Christ, saints, and angels looking down from the heavens, signifying divine blessings. All right. And the third one, according to utopian vision, fraternity represents brotherhood and unity among nations, symbolized by the procession of different nations. So fraternity, symbolized by the procession of different nations, each identified by their flags, and they are moving towards liberty. So 4 points. Okay, so this is the answer for first question. Okay, dear students, now we have got the next question. That would be, what is absolutism? An absolutist is a government or system of rule that has no restraints. Please note this key point. They have no restraints on the power exercised. For example, a monarchical government that is centralized, militarized, and repressive. So we have got a monarchical government. Monarchical government is a government ruled by an individual whom you often refer to as a monarch. So a monarch will have lots of power. That means one individual or a bunch of people surrounding him will be holding the power. That's why you call it as centralized. Then how they exercise the power? They unleash the power to the people via military. All right, no restraints. Power is just unleashed to the people. And unlike a modern government where we have got what is called judicial system, law enforcement machinery, and more than that, there is something called accountability. In modern government, we have got what is called accountability. The rulers are accountable to the people. They are accountable to the judicial system. They have got a law enforcement system like our police, our court, etc. Okay, but in this absolutist system, there is no such thing, no checks and balances, no accountability. It is all centralized. Through military, they unleash the power to the people, and naturally, when you have this kind of tyrannical system, there will be voices raised against the monarch, against his centralized power, and that will be brutally repressed. It will be oppressive government, and they will be repressed. The public opinion, everything will be repressed. So it is going to be repressive. Okay, so I hope you're not going to forget these terms. That's why I just elaborated a little. So an absolutist is a government or system of rule that has no restraint on the power exercise, and that is the key word. And for example, a monarchical government that is centralized, militarized, and repressive will have no restraint on the power exercise. Therefore, it is absolutist. Okay, now we will move on to the third question. The question is how a nation state is different from modern state. This could be a very, very important question. Okay, now here we have got two important points, slightly lengthy one with examples, but these points are really crucial. A core characteristic of a nation state is a shared national identity. Shared national identity based on common language, culture, history, or ethnicity. That's point number one. Hence, we can say that a nation state refers to a sovereign state where the state and the nation are largely the same. This is the most crucial point. Hence, we can say that a nation state refers to a sovereign state, that means ruled by the people of the country by themselves, where the state and the nation are largely the same. Example, Japan, Iceland, and China. So let's see what does this exactly mean. Okay, consider Japan and China, two familiar examples. If you look at these two countries, you will notice that the people of the countries have got the same ethnicity. That means Chinese people, they are basically, they are not very diverse. They come from the same ethnic background. So is in Japan. Their culture, almost all the people have got the same culture because they are coming from the same descendants. All the people who are in this country will have the same history to boast about, and most interestingly, all of them speak the same common language. So common language, they have the same culture, they boast of the same history, and all of them have got the same ethnicity. All right. So here in such a country, of course, it's a sovereign country ruled by the people using their government. Yes. And you say that state and the nation are largely the same. So example, Japan and China. Another example which you can consider is Iceland. Iceland is a country which is lying somewhere west of Scandinavian countries like Norway, Finland, Sweden, etc. And this country, Iceland, of course, it's an island country, and the people here are mostly descendants from the Scandinavian countries, and they do like the way China and Chinese and Japanese have the same culture, same history, and the same ethnicity. So I've given three examples. At least you can remember two of them comfortably. Okay. Now, so this is about a nation state, okay? Whereas consider India, it is just the opposite. We are multicultural and we have multi ethnicity. We speak many languages. All right. So we have a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-language society. And so how do we define our country, India? Because we have got the well-defined geographical limit. All right. We have what is called well-defined territory. We have the power. We are a sovereign country. All right. So we have the sovereignty, and throughout the territory of India, the sovereign government exercises its power. And of course, we speak different language. That is, we are multilingual. All right. So we are multilingual. We speak many languages, multi-ethnicity, multicultural, and that means we have what is called diversity. We have diversity all over. Yet we are united. All right. And we are all united by this single emotion called India, and that is unity in diversity. Okay, so such a state is called a modern state. Such a state is called modern state. So with our example, I think you are not going to forget this quite fast. All right. So modern state, classical example is India, and another example is USA, United States of America, where we have got 50 states, and almost this country is made up of immigrants because people just immigrated from different parts of the world to USA, and that's how that country was built or made. Okay, there also we can see multicultural, multi-ethnicity in USA, and therefore we can say that a modern state, in a broader term, that focuses on the state's power, territory, and sovereignty rather than the necessity of a single national identity. You don't need to be from the same ethnicity. You don't need to claim about the same culture. You don't need to say that you all of you speak the same language. Not necessarily. Okay, where you're talking about the absolute power of the government to exercise their power all over the territory of the country. Okay, and the country is sovereign. Sovereign means absolute power. It is not subjugated to some foreign powers. Okay, so a modern state, in a broader term, that focuses on the state's power, territory, and sovereignty rather than the necessity of a single national identity. Example, United States and India are examples of a modern state that are multi-ethnic, multicultural with diverse population and complex government structures. So that answers the third question, how a nation state is different from modern state. Okay. Okay, friends. Now we'll move on to the fourth question. Explain Renan's attributes of a nation. Why, in his view, nations are important. Ernst Renan, a French philosopher and historian, in a speech in 1882, outlined his understanding of nations. Okay, Ernst Renan, a French philosopher and historian. According to Renan, nations are entities defined by shared memories and collective identity. These are the two key points required in your answer. Shared memories and collective identity rather than just race or territory. He believed that nations are important for fostering social cohesion, shaping political structures, and preserving cultural heritage. Please note this point. This is going to be very, very important. So, point number one, our question is explain Renan's attributes of a nation. And the answer is Ernst Renan, a French philosopher and historian, in his speech in 1882, outlined his understanding of nations. Second point, according to Renan, nations are entities defined by shared memories and collective identity rather than just race or territory. He believed that nations are important for fostering social cohesion, shaping political structures, and preserving cultural heritage. So, why you need a nation? Not because you want a well defined geographical territory, or it's not to keep a bunch of people who belongs to the same race in one geographical region. No, actually, the nation or the idea of nation means that it should, first of all, there should be a social cohesion among the people who live there. Then they should shape some political structures for a nation, as well as they should be they should be preserving the cultural heritage which they are having. So, key idea of why you need a nation, because a nation is required for people to live or have social cohesion. They should be able to shape the political structures and they should preserve the cultural heritage which they are having or carrying. Okay, and the third point is nations are important because it is a guarantee of liberty, which would be lost if the world had only one land and only one master. Okay, you can't say that the whole world is just one country and this country will be ruled by just one person, like this emperor concept. Actually, Renan just denounced that idea. He should say that there should be many nations that should be a part of the world. And that's why, because each nation is required so that there is something called liberty, freedom. Okay, there should be a guarantee of liberty, which would be lost if all of us are put under just one land and will be and are ruled by one master. Okay, so we have got three important points. Explain Renan's attributes of a nation. Why, in his view, nations are important. First of all, you are introducing who is Ernst Renan. Then you should highlight that is the shared memory and collective identity. That concept should be there. And he says why nations are important, because you need social cohesion, then shaping political structures and preserving cultural heritage. And what if this nation concept, instead of nation, was replaced by one single large world and ruled by one master? What could be the biggest drawback of that? That should be mentioned in the third point. Okay, so we have completed the fourth question as well. Okay, now we'll move on to the fifth question. That is, these two questions are fill in the blank type of questions. The fifth question is a direct vote by which all the people of a region are asked to accept or reject a proposal is called. It's called a plebiscite. All right. Normally, this kind of voting, actually, this involves a voting. But in this case, they'll be asked about their opinion on a particular or a single point issue. For example, amending the constitution of a country. All right, amending the constitution of a country. And if the public is asked whether they want it or they don't want it, they will have two choices, either mark yes or no. So this kind of opinion, uh, seeking opinion from the public by the government through this kind of voting system is called a plebiscite. So a public question is being put up, and they will be requested to give their viewpoint, yes or no. Sometimes this plebiscite is interchangeably used with another word called a referendum. Even though technically there should be some difference, but this word referendum is also interchangeably used. A classical example for plebiscite slash referendum would be one, Britain, which was a part of European Union, who decided to exit European Union, and that was referred to as Brexit. Britain exiting from European Union. This was actually conducted by a referendum. All right. Likewise, we have in India,
Immediately after independence in the year 1948,
we conducted a plebiscite, and that plebiscite was conducted in Junagadh. Whether Junagadh wants to be a part of India or if it wants to remain as an independent kingdom. And overwhelmingly, the people of Junagadh voted for being a part of India. So we conducted plebiscite in 1948 in India, and Junagadh became part of India after this plebiscite. Okay. Likewise, a referendum was conducted in Britain so that the Brexit resulted in exiting United Kingdom from European Union. So the answer is plebiscite. Okay, hope you have understood this concept of plebiscite. Now, the next question, the supreme, absolute and uncontrollable power or authority within a territory of a modern state is called sovereignty. A few minutes back in the previous question, we have used or mentioned the word sovereignty. That means the absolute power. So the supreme, absolute and uncontrollable power or authority within a territory of a modern state, which will be exercised by the government, elected government by the people of that country. And that power is called sovereignty. Okay. So, hope this 6 questions from this chapter is now thorough for you. Okay, please master these concepts and remember these points. It is easy to divide the concept into different points, and you can remember the points just like that. Okay, friends, and we'll move on to the next chapter, that is the chapter 2.
if you find this class useful, please let me know by pressing the like or hike button and by writing your comments. If you want more such videos, please subscribe to my channel, follow my page and share my videos. And I wish you all the best for your exams.